Hi everyone, good morning. I hope you're able to hear me.
Yes.
Okay. So let me open my data factory. Let me open the storage accounts also. So today I'm going to talk about execute pipeline activity. So in the last session, we have seen the multiple activities, failed activity, and what else we have seen? Until activity and validation activity we have seen. Okay,
Uh,
so yeah,
a
please.
window is the activity. A transformation window, select, derived, alter. These are transformation activity.
Those are all transformations. As part of data flow, we have it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So now let's talk about this execute pipeline activity. And if anyone having experience on SSIS, in SSIS we have a execute package task. Okay, so it is more or less same. The purpose of that is same, and here also same. Like if you wanted to create a master pipeline by calling all the pipelines, depends on your requirement. So at the time of orchestration, mostly there is more and more chances to use this execute pipeline activity. So that is one thing. On the interview point of view, there is an important question for this. Like basically, for each we have seen, right? So for each activity cannot allow you keep inside another for each activity. So that means for each inside for each is not possible. Whereas in SSIS it is possible, but here it is not possible. Okay, so that will be an interview question. Can we keep a for each inside for each? So answer is generally no, but if the business requirement demands, we can do it. Not directly, we can do it indirectly. So if we keep directly, then we can say for each inside for each, it will not possible. But whereas indirectly, we can make it possible. Okay, so how exactly we are going to do that? We are going to see that. In other case where we are going to use this execute pipeline activities, when you're creating an orchestration, in that particular case, we are going to use execute pipeline activity. So there's two situations, there is more and more chances to use it. Okay, you can see it. I just kept some points here. So if you wanted to break down your logic, if you have a complex logic, if you have a complex logic, then if you wanted to break it into multiple pieces, and each piece is going to be one pipeline, pipeline 2 and pipeline 3. So these three pipelines we can keep in one main pipeline. That pipeline is going to call like execute pipeline 1, execute pipeline 2. Okay, so if these two are completed, then if you wanted to go for execute pipeline 3, then you can do it. So that we already seen, like how we are going to handle it. I mean, this is checking. Just give me a minute. Okay, so if you have a complex logic that you can break it and you can create a one main pipeline, that pipeline is going to call other pipelines. So if you have anything that is going to be reused, like connections also, you can keep it if you wanted to create a common pipeline, and you can keep it there in one place, and you can reuse that multiple times. So if you wanted to go for conditional based execution, in that case also you can use this parallel execution, failure isolations. Like if you if something is getting failed, if you wanted to take out and keep it in separate place and call that, depends on your requirement, you can execute it. So simply I wanted to say whatever the part you wanted to execute it, you can execute by using execute pipeline activity. So 100% everyone is going to use in your experience. So here I'm going to take one requirement to explain about it, and I'll just walk you through that so that you can understand the intention of this execute pipeline activity. So I wanted to create a pipeline to read the data from the nested folders. I have a folder inside a folder. Let's say, for example, I have a source. Inside source, let me take otherwise, as we're using an input folder. So I'm having an input folder. Inside input folder, I'm having folder 1, folder 2, and folder 3. So 3 folders are there. Inside folder 1, you can have a one file or multiple files. Okay, just imagine file 1, file 2, and file 3. And here also you may have a few more files, file 4, file 5, and file 6. Here I have a file 7. So like this, I'm having it. If I wanted to read the data from here into the database, then how you're going to do it? So I'm sure about how many folders are there. Okay, so nested folders, what is the level of the folder that I'm having? So that should be known. Otherwise, you cannot handle it. So that is one. Another thing is, in order to provide the solution for this kind of requirement, we have two different approaches. So one is you can iterate a folder and subfolder. You can just go to the folder, and from the folder, you can go to the subfolder. That is one approach it. And if you're not sure about is there a folder or is there a subfolders, how many levels of the folder that you're not sure about it, then the best way is control table. You can do with the control table, or you can do with the this one also. But if you wanted to go with this one, you should be known about how many levels of the hierarchy you're having it. So if you know that, then only can do it. Otherwise, it is not going to be possible. But when you come to control table, whatever the level of hierarchy you're having, one file is having different and one file is having other hierarchy, then you can go and use the control table. So I'll give a context how you can do it, and you can try from your side. Okay. So let me explain about folder in this folder to iterate subfolder also. And if you wanted to do this, then definitely you need to use the execute pipeline activity. So without that, you cannot do it. Okay. Now, first step is, in order to get the solution for this, first you need to get these folders, folder 1, folder 2, and folder 3. So who is going to give the items of this input directory? We are going to use the get metadata activity. Get metadata activity, you are going to use to get the list of the items. So from where you are going to get the list of the items? From the input directory. From the input directory, we are trying to get it. So the output of this get metadata activity, we are going to get folder 1, folder 2, and folder 3. So this folder 1 and folder 2, you have to give to someone else to get the list of the files. First, you need to get the list of the folders, and then you have to get the list of the files. To iterate each and every item, Here one for loop is required, and here one for loop is required, right? So if you wanted to do this, then you need to have a for each inside for each. But unfortunately, it is not having possibility. It is not having situations, or it is not going to have a options to use a for each inside for each. So how you're going to handle it, that I'm going to show you now. Let's go to the pipeline. So first of all, let's set up the source. Okay, so what I'll do is, if I wanted to keep one by one file, it takes time. So you can use Storage Explorer, Azure Storage Explorer. It's a client tool to communicate with your Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. You can just install it in your system, and this is going to be helpful to access your storage account directly. Because if they don't give you access to the portal, then you can use this manage Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. So most of the times they're going to give it to your account, so you can directly use the account. But here I'm using account key to connect it. Right click on it, connect to Azure Storage. Let's take, we have a various options. I'm just taking storage account and services. With account name and key, I'm just connecting it. Or you can take a connection string. I have a connection string here. I can take this. Let's go to next and paste it here. And let me hit on next and connect. So I can control from the outside of your Azure. Just expand this blob. I have a containers data files. Inside the data files, I have a input directory. I do not have anything here. I'm just taking all these details.
Whatever the files and folder is available in Azure Data Lake Storage and to the same file and folder is available in
Yes,
Azure Explorer. That's
yes,
it.
you can see that. So it is not going to be available here. Your folders and all is available in the Azure only. You're accessing it. If you want to delete, you can delete it. If you want to update, you can, if you want to upload, you can upload it. Now, if I try to upload all these things, you need to go for one by one folder. It takes time. So what I'll do is I'm just going to take this input directory and I'm just going to keep it here. Just drag and drop. It's one shot, it will keep all the files. So format reduces the effort. Now inside that I have a 3 folders as I explained. Folder 1 is having one file. There may be one file or there may be 2 files. And this is folder 2 and folder 3. So like this, I'm having various folders here. So I wanted to get the list of these folders first. To get the list of the folders, my data set should point to the input directory. So let's go and design the pipeline. I create a new pipeline. I'm just giving the name of the pipeline is PL underscore parent. So to get the list of the items, you can use get metadata activity. Just drag and drop it. Get folders. Let's go and take the data set here. So we're already having an input data set. I'm just going to use the same. Let's go to plus and take a list of items, and let's say child items. So this child items, we already know this is going to give the list of items. So list of items means it is going to give a folders as we are pointing to the input directory. Okay, so let me show you. Let's debug up to here. Now you can see get folders output you can just observe here. So all folders are there, right? Folder 1, folder 2, and folder 3. So 3 folders are there. These 3 folders to iterate what is there inside this folder. To iterate what is there, to know what is there inside this folder, first you need to give this list of items to for each activity. So I'm going to give these details to for each activity. Just observe. The output of this, give it to for each. So for each is going to take output from your get metadata activity, child items, hit OK. So I'm just going to give, just for sake of knowledge, I'm just taking the wait activity here. Just observe. I'm just going to run this. Now 3 times wait activity is completed. That is fine. You just imagine in place of this wait, I need to keep one more get metadata activity. One more get metadata activity is required. So this is going to take the folder. It takes first folder. So first folder is folder 1. We are giving it to folder 1, saying that get the list of items inside the folder 1. Get the list of items in the folder 1. But unfortunately, if you give these details to here, it is not going to work. Okay, so it gives the list of items, but if you wanted to iterate those files, then again you need to have a one more for each activity is required. So what happens, you just observe. I'll take a data set. We already having folder name and file name. I think folder name alone is there. I don't need a file here. So if data set is not available, I need to create a one data set which is pointing to the folder name dynamically. Just observe. Where is the input data set? So I'm just going to clone this input data set, or you can just clone output file name is available. Here file name is dynamic. I don't need a file name dynamic. I need only directory dynamic. Let's clone this one. So I wanted to say underscore folder name. Now I'm just going to keep the same thing. Let me create a one parameter here. So parameter name is p underscore folder underscore name. Let's go to the connection. Here I don't want to take this input directory. So I wanted to take folder name. Okay, so this data set I'm going to use inside this for each. Just observe. I'm just trying to show here itself. Folder name. The folder name is item.name is the name of the folder. Item.name is the name of the folder. So inside this, I wanted to get the child items. Now just observe, let's execute up to here. Let's see. Okay, because the folder is available inside the input directory. So you have to give input slash, just taking a positional so that I don't need to use the concatenate function. Hit OK. Let's try again. Now if you see the first one, so here department number is there. Just imagine if I have a multiple files. If I have a multiple files, file 1 and file 2. So this file 1 and file 2, to read it, you have to give this data to Foreach because there is a multiple items are there. So when there is a multiple items, definitely you have to use 100% for each only. Okay, so to go for each, what you can do is, let's go inside this for each. Now here, I have to take for each. Is that possible to use it? So it is completely disabled. So that indicates you cannot keep for each inside for each. For each inside for each, you cannot keep it. Whatever the output that you are getting here, this one, I wanted to give it to one more pipeline. If I have a one pipeline here, then I can give this folder name, whatever the folder name I'm getting, that folder name I can give it to this one, execute pipeline activity. So execute pipeline activity is going to take that folder. Basically, I don't need to give what I can say. So I don't need to give it here. I can directly I can directly take a pipeline activity. So pipeline will expect one parameter. So you need to have a one parameter in this particular pipeline. So let me create a one pipeline. I'll come back to here. Let's go and create a one more new pipeline with a name called pipeline underscore child. So here I wanted to iterate the folder one. Okay, just imagine. Let's go and take the get metadata activity. Get a list of files. So here you have to take the data set, data files underscore folder name, data set underscore folder name, it is expecting. So you have to keep the folder name here. You have to keep the folder name. So to keep the folder name, you have to take the folder name from the parent pipeline because parent pipeline is having folder 1, folder 2, folder 3. So those details you have to take it from outside. I mean to say from other pipeline. So in order to capture some value from another pipeline, you have to create a parameter. So I'm just giving here pipeline underscore, sorry, parameter underscore, parent underscore, folder name. So this indicates this folder name is coming from the parent pipeline. So that is the meaning of this. I'm just taking in that way naming standard. You can take whatever the naming standard you wanted to take it. Now I have this parameter in the child pipeline. When the moment I try to call this pipeline, when the moment I try to call this pipeline from the parent pipeline, just observe, I'm just going to take out this from here. You can just directly take the execute pipeline activity. I'm just going to call child pipeline. Just observe. Let's go to the settings. So it is asking what is the name of the pipeline? Child. You can have your own naming standard. So what it is asking? It is asking folder name. So you have to provide the folder name. So current item dot name is the name of the folder. You're giving folder 1 and folder 2 to this particular pipeline. Now folder 1 and folder 2 is available in this place. Okay, so that folder name we are going to get into this place. So where is that folder? That folder is available inside this parent folder. Inside this parent folder, I'm having it. Okay, so folder 1 will come to here. So basically, so here I have a folder 1, folder 2, and folder 3. Okay, so folder 1 will come to here. But folder 1 is available inside the input directory. Input slash folder 1, right? So you have to keep the input here. Okay, so something like this, input slash, then you can use the positional parameter, just keep it that. So then you don't need to write the concatenate function. Just try. Input slash.
Input slash, what is input slash?
Folder name, man. This one. Input directory is there, right? Did you get my point? In the storage, we have created a data set. If you see, where is here? Data files, inside the data files, we have a input directory, right? Inside input directory, I have a folder 1, but we are not passing the input here. You're passing entire thing is dynamic. So I'm just passing everything is dynamic. You got my point, right?
Yes.
Let's hit OK. And then I wanted to get inside that folder, I wanted to get the list of items. So child items, I wanted to get it. Now just observe, I'm just going to save all. I'm not going to call my child pipeline. I'm not going to execute my child pipeline. I'm going to run from my parent pipeline. Just observe, I'm going to run up to here. What happens? You just observe. Let's debug it. So you need to have a multiple times practice. Then only you can understand how you can use a pipeline in another pipeline. Now, if you see here, child pipeline is getting executed. If you hit on this output, you can find what is the run ID. Just hit on it. It will show you what is the output of that. Okay, so input you can see. What is the input here? Input slash folder 1. Inside folder 1, you're trying to get the list of the files. I have only one file here. So like that, for every folder, it is going to check uh, what is the folder name and what are the child items. It is going to get it. So 3 times your execute pipeline activity is executed. You got my point right here? What I'm trying to do? Is everyone clear till now?
Execute pipeline, call the another pipeline. That is
Yes.
called child pipeline.
Yes. Same to same, like if you're having experience with SSIS, in SSIS, we have a execute package task. So same to same. Now, I wanted to load this data, right? Whatever the data is there in the file, that data I wanted to load into the target. To load the data into the target, just let me check. I need one thing here. Data files. I wanted to create a target table based on this input column names. I'm just creating one table here. I don't think the table is available. Let me check.
Creating a table in Azure.
Yes. Create table, department details. I'm just giving some name, but I'm trying to keep all these columns here. Let's create this table. So I wanted to load the data into this table. We already having for target, we already having a data set. So I don't need to create it. I can reuse the existed data set. Let's go here. So inside this child, I need to keep for each activity. Just make a connector. So once you make connect, you just go and take the output of your list of files. So child items of your list of files. And then go inside this for each. Here I'm going to take copy activity. So source data set is required. The source data set is DS data files, folder name, pipeline, file name. All together I'm going to make dynamic. So file name is your item.name. And folder name is, you have to keep the parameter. Let me take a input first. Inside input, I have a folder name. At let's hit OK. Now folder name will come and file name will come here. Let's go to the sync. Sync is going to be a target data set. So it's asking the name of the table. So I'm just going to give the name of the table. Just keep it here. So just leave everything. I'm just going to load the data now. So just cross verify how many records are there inside each and every file. In the folder 1, I have a 2 records here. In the folder 2, I have a 2 records. In folder 3, I have a 1 record. So total 5 records are there in all the files inside this input directory. So I wanted to load the data from all these 5 files, which are located in different folders. And let's load into the a target called SQL Server. Just hit on, you're not supposed to run this pipeline. Okay, so even if you wanted to run it, it is going to ask the folder name. So for testing purpose, you can just give a folder 1. It will just check it, will it execute or not by passing the folder name. Instead of that, I can run the pipeline from parent itself. Let's execute it. You're giving a value, a parameter value from the parent pipeline to child pipeline. So we can pass value from one pipeline to another pipeline. Let it complete. So it is done. Now, if you go and see your target table, okay, so this is done. Okay, I'll give one interview question here. Most of the times I used to face with copy activity. Let's say, for example, here, if I add one more new column here, I'm just going to take one column called test column. For this test column, I wanted to take the data. Okay, so the file is added one new column. I'll just add it. I don't want to take a separate pipeline. Let's go to your data factory. Sorry, your storage account. I'm just going to add a new column called test. I'm just taking A. Okay, so something I'm just taking it for reference. Just save this. Let's save this. So just imagine there is a number of columns are different in the source. Okay, so you know that they added one new column. If they added a new column, I need to add accordingly in the table also. Alter table. So table name you can provide. Add. Let's say column type is test and varchar 100. I'm just adding the same column here. Now just execute and see. So for previous records, it is having a null. That's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to run this one. So basically what happens here, there is a schema drift. There is a change in the schema. But without changing anything in the pipeline, you have to handle it without doing any changes in the pipeline. So I'm not doing any change. I'll tell you who is going to handle this schema drift in copy activity. Just run this pipeline first. Now, if you go and see your target table, you can see the data. So how it is going to be happened? As many number of columns are added in the source and target, it is going to take automatically. So that is going to be happened is because the copy activity, there is an option called, not here, let's go to this pipeline, child pipeline. There is an auto mapping is there. Okay, so if I have a import schema, then you can see that. Okay, so basically this mapping itself is going to have a feature to handle it. Let me import the schema. So it will ask you to provide this. Okay, otherwise let me take other pipeline. Anyhow, so there is a auto mapping will be there inside this mapping. So here it is not showing because if I go with that again, it has to take it from the data sets and all. So just try from your side in the mapping, it is going to have a auto mapping. So because of that reason, it is going to map the columns and even the column names I'm keeping in the same naming standard. So if you wanted to take the auto mapping, the column names in the source and target should be same. So that is one thing. Another thing is if you don't use this auto mapping, let's say, for example, I imported the schema. If I import it, you have to map the columns. If you map the columns manually, then if there is any new column is coming into picture, then you have to open the data factory and you have to map it. So that is not recommended if you wanted to handle it. So you have to always recommend it to go with the auto mapping. We don't need to map the columns. Go with the auto mapping. If the column names are different, then definitely you have to go for manual mapping. Okay, so in the data ingestion side, we don't keep the different naming standards.
But Bhaskar, it is going to append the data.
Of course.
So we'll create a duplicate records.
No.
So how are we going
No,
to
here
handle?
my context is how we can get the data for new column, not
Okay.
about duplicated data. So if you have a duplicated data, let's say if you're having a date, if you go for incremental loading, will it get the duplicated data? There is a less chances, even if you get it, no worries in the data ingestion. So when you go for data ingestion, there will be duplicated data. It is the expected scenario. Okay, so but when you go for SCD type 1 and SCD type 2, and there we are going to take out it. Before doing that, we are going to take out the duplicated records. You got my point, right?
Yes, yes.
Because if you're taking this SCD type 1, definitely for same customer, you're taking the latest data also. So there is a chances to have a duplicated data. But when it comes to your final destination, that is not going to have a duplicated data until unless that is a SCD type 2. Okay, so removing the duplicated is one of the data cleansing operation in the database. That is very important. Okay. So that is about this one. And any question as of now?
No.
Okay, everyone is doing a practice, right?
If the new column is not available on the target side, it is going to fail, correct?
Definitely.
Ah.
Definitely. By its own, it's not recommended to create a column.
There is no option to auto create that column
Auto
on a,
create is there. Auto create
but that
option
is a
is there.
table. Auto create is a table, huh?
Yes,
But
auto
not a
create,
column.
not a column. Even depends on the number of columns you can create it. It is going to create the table by adding a columns. Okay, so the test column also is going to be done. The only thing is every time it is going to create it. You have to drop the table pre-script. Then you can check the checkbox. You got my point, right? Let me say drop table in the style. Perfect. Just
We need
save
to
all.
write it like if exists, then drop it.
Not required, because if the column names are different, then you have to create multiple times, right?
Mm.
In that case, you have to create it. So if your
Okay.
intention is just every time you're doing the full loading in the data ingestion layer, then in that case you can do that. But basically, 99% we don't keep the data in the target in in SQL Server in the data ingestion layer. So this is one of the interview question. Okay, so how can you handle if the column names are changed in the source?
Then we can use this option.
Yes, then we can use this option. Let me debug now.
But how it will create, how the data type and limit
It
is
will take
defined.
it will take care about it. Not sure, maybe string data type, or for all the columns it may go for string data type. Depends on the source. Mostly for data ingestion, we always used to take AD less than 2. Now if I go and see the table, you see the data was removed and recreated it.
All the files data will not be there.
That is also one of the problem. So here it is iterating, right? So always it is going to have only last iteration records only. See, now this will go off and there will be one more record is there. So that record will come. So this is again one more dangerous.
I think I missed it. What?
So here, every time this prescript is getting executed, right? So 3 iterations are there. For every folder, it is for every file, it is going to iterate it.
Uh, uh,
So inside this, I have prescript. So I'm
yeah, so
dropping the
every
table.
time.
Yeah,
Uh,
every time it is dropping. Okay, so that is a problem. Okay, so if you use the existed table, then it is fine. Okay, you understand my point, right?
yes, yes.
Any other questions?
So execute pipeline is a major activity which we are
Yeah.
going.
To call other pipelines to create a master pipelines, we need to use the execute pipeline activity.
Oscar, what is the difference between those outputs on success, on completion?
We are going to see that is very, very important. We are going to
Yeah,
touch on
on
tomorrow.
escape. Yeah, okay, okay.
Okay, so that is the exception handling.
Okay, at that time only we are.
Yeah, we are going to see that. So that is important. Okay, so an experienced person is the person having experience or not. If you ask a question about this, then we can decide how much experience level you have. Okay, so that I'm going to take you through. Like we have a on success, on failure, on completed, and 4 options are there, I guess. Yeah, on skip is there, on success, on fail, on completion. Okay, so time is not sufficient to talk about it. I will take you through on tomorrow, and I'll just walk you through the basics of exception handling first. And once that is done, we'll implement same exception handling for our incremental loading pipeline. We're already having incremental loading pipeline. I'm just going to take that pipeline to show you how we can handle it if it is the original pipeline. But most of the people will give a basic pipeline exception handling with basic pipelines. So for understanding purpose, definitely that is required. I'm sure about it. But when it comes to the working, we don't use only that particular basic. There will be little extension. So that we are going to see on tomorrow. So tomorrow's session, please do not miss. Any question, guys?
All activity has been completed.
Most of the activities, whatever we required. See, there are many activities because data factory is not only for us. Data factory is for everyone. Okay, so once tomorrow is exception handling is completed, then tomorrow is Thursday, right? So Friday, I'm going to talk about incremental file loading. Incremental file loading.
Tomorrow is
Today is
Friday, sir.
Thursday.
Tomorrow is Friday.
Today is Thursday.
Oh, and then Saturday, I'm going to talk about this. And then followed by incremental loading is tumbling window. There is a one more trigger I'm going to talk about it. In interview point of view, it is very important. So I'll talk about this. Then once this is completed, from Monday, we are going to start talking about data flow. So data flow, mostly I'm going to spend 1 week, not more than that. I don't even spend 1 week because let's see, because this is not much important. Instead of that, if you can concentrate on the database, that is going to be helpful for you. Okay.
Currently data flow is not using in the project.
Most of the projects, not even 5% as people are ready to use it. Even if they started using after 1 or 2 weeks or after 1 month, they will realize we took the wrong step.
Then they move to database.
Mostly on the database. Okay.
In my project, they are using Logic App as well.
Logic app is just for sending an alert. For what reason you're using? Is that for only sending an alert, or is there any other reason to use Logic app?
I will ask to my team.
Okay, basically, Logic app is for many things. Okay, we are not a Logic app developers. Logic app can call your Power BI dataset refresh because Power BI dataset is going to have a fixed scheduler. I mean to say, if I say 9 a.m., it refreshes at 9 a.m. But my source was refreshed at 8:05 a.m. Then I need to wait 55 minutes to refresh my dataset, to start my dataset refresh. I wanted to refresh as soon as my data source is refreshed. In that case, Logic app is required. We can trigger your Power BI dataset refresh by using the Logic app. In the same way, you can trigger your alert from the data factory to send an alert if the pipeline is succeeded or failure. Okay, so that is the main for our purposes. Since we are working with the data factory, you have to think about how we can send an alert when there is a failure. You got my point, right?
Yes.
For
So
Power
that
BI refresh, we can use REST API also, no?
that is what it is.
Okay, using Logic app only.
Yeah, we can do. I mean, see, data maybe there in the REST API. That is different story.
Mhm.
Okay, so to call your data set refresh, we can use the Logic app.
Okay.
Okay, here also the same thing. To call your, your Logic app, you have to use the web activity. So web activity is going to use the REST API. Get put. Okay, so
Have you
we'll.
ever implemented that?
You mean to say that alert you're saying?
No, Power BI refresh using ADF.
No, I have done it, but even I forgot very long ago I have done. I forgot about it. So need to spend some time, then we can do that.
Okay. So Logic app is nothing, it's kind of a Power Automate.
Power Automate is collection of various services. Of course, you're right. Power Automate is similar to your Logic app. There is a slight difference, but you can also use the Power Automate in place of Logic app. Power Automate also you can use it to automate your data refreshes, or to automate your if you wanted to send an alerts, emails. Okay, so every day some refreshes or some kind of activities to automate, you can use the Power Automate also. So it is a part of Power Platform or something the Microsoft used to call one term. So that includes Logic app, Power Automate, Power BI, Logic, sorry, Power
Power
Apps.
Apps.
Yeah,
Our platform it is.
yeah, exactly. Power Platform. All are Power only.
Incremental loading and incremental file loading both are different.
No, both are different. Incremental loading will be applied on database, and incremental file loading only if the file is already read. You are not supposed to read again the same file. So depends on the modified date, we are going to handle it.
And what about full load? Full load related to database and file both.
Which one? Which one?
Full load, full load, full.
Full load is related to database mostly, and even for data for file system also you can load it.
That means firstly truncate the data, then we will.
Yeah, that is file. That is full load. If you are not if you're reading the file again and again, then that is a full load only. It is going to replace the file, right?
Yes.
That is a full load. But when it comes to incremental loading, once you read the file, you are not supposed to read the file again. There is no use of it. So in order to do that, you need to have a tumbling window. Okay.
I have one question. Email alert, the status of the pipeline, whether it is completed, whether it is failed,
Mm-hmm.
the email alert. So is it going to be covered as part of this?
Yeah, well, I'm going to cover. Okay, so I'll take when time comes, but
Okay.
in this particular place, I'm not going to take
Okay.
because that one is a little caster if I forget or if you have to use very carefully because they change some settings. I experienced one time, I explained for one of my previous batch months ago.
Mhm.
I just kept it for 2 days. I got almost 1500 bill only for 2 days. So I used to take a very simple pipeline and I used to explain about it. And once that is done, make sure to remove that entire stuff.
Mhm. Okay.
I'm going to take it definitely because that is required.
Yeah.
They will ask, at least, of course, they will ask in the interview. You can say about the context, but if you do this practically, then you can give more in confident.
Yeah. Okay.
Bhaskar, our free trial is about to
And
end
then go with the
in
paid.
next 10 days. In next 10
Okay,
days.
next 10 days. So, okay. Then your data factory mostly will be completed. Data flow will be also completed.
Mm.
Okay. So wait for till I say, because once this is completed, I'm going to use the Databricks. For Databricks, I go with the community edition. Okay, so there is a free community edition is there from the Databricks. We don't need to pay anything. So you can do that. Once I start talking about the project, then you can go with the paid subscription.
At that time, can we again recreate an account?
Yeah, you can recreate it. That is one option. Another option is you can go with the paid subscription. I recommend to go with the paid because I need a premium subscription, premium premium license I required for Databricks.
Oh.
So that is going to have a Unity catalog. Otherwise, if you go with the standard, I guess you will get the premium capacity. Even if you have 15 days, 15 days is going to get. So I hope that 15 days is more enough if you can complete your practice. Otherwise, have a paid subscription and just 1 month only, max to max, you are going to spend. I mean to say, I'm planning to take 3 weeks, 3 weekends I'm going to spend with the project, not with the regular days. So I'm going to make you to do it and everyone has to do along with me. Okay, so I wanted to setuping environment is very difficult. At the same time, implementation is also going to be little difficult. So since we already done, you feel that is little easy, I'm sure. But we'll do with the premium. Okay, so Unity catalog, if you wanted to talk about Unity catalog or if you wanted to practice that, then definitely you required premium capacity from the database.
Without premium subscription,
No.
some option is disabled.
Standard is there. Standard is not going to allow you.
Some
If I'm
option,
correct.
Some option is disabled.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
And Unity catalog is also required when we try to connect Databricks with Power BI, if I'm
Of course,
correct.
that is what it is. Basically, the security.
Yeah.
Previously, there was no there was a different approach to give the security. Now they made it leaf level security like your database. So Unity catalog is very important. If you say I did not work with Unity catalog, then they feel it's not basically. Frankly, I'm saying I work for one project. I don't even know that is a Unity catalog. So they already set up it. I feel that is a database only, like Metastore. Okay, so later I got to know they already implemented Unity catalog. So that means the setup is done. It's same to same, like your Hive Metastore. Only thing is Hive Metastore is not having this many granular level of securities, whereas in the Unity catalog we have it. Okay, so we are going to see all the stuff and performance tuning, everything I'm going to talk about it. So few things, if you go through the content, all this stuff is not noted in the content. So I wanted to make it update, but I need to complete your batch. Along with the batch, I'm just preparing the content also. So there is many content, I just left it. I'll keep that. Okay, so many things I'm going to cover as part of our database.
My manager told us in a status call to just go through the database, Unity catalog, materialized view, that kind of things.
Materialized view, you can do it. Like it's like a SQL server only, nothing more difficult it is.
So why is telling he just to go through
Materialized view
See,
is like in a SQL server. Oracle they used to call it as a materialized view.
materialized view.
Even here also in SQL server also we have it. Everywhere, every database is having materialized view.
The naming convention is different,
Yes,
but
yeah.
in Oracle we call it as
Yes.
materialized.
Okay. Any other question, guys? But Databricks, when you start, I have a plan like, when it comes to the Databricks, RDD is also there. So I wanted to take out the RDD from your batch because market is not ready to use the RDD extensively. But if you're interested to get update on RDD, so I'll keep the previous batches recording if you are interested to update. But I recommend to concentrate more and more on data frame only.
What is RDD?
Resilient distributed dataset. That was the initial version of Spark.
Okay.
So people are not interested to use it. On top of it, data frame came into the picture.
Oh, in recent project, they are not using RDD. They are using data frame.
Yes, data frame only is using. Okay, so I'm stopping. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.